A very good afternoon to everyone. It's my pleasure to be a moderator of today's webinar. I'm Dr. Sushil Lunder, Assistant Professor, Department of Humanities and Applied Sciences, Basic. On behalf of Vivekanand Education Society's Institute of Technology, Mumbai, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We hope you will learn a lot today. We have lined up for you to be a fruitful and engaging session. The Department of Humanities and Applied Sciences, in association with Institution Innovation Council, presents a webinar on a step towards engineering. Now, I would like to introduce the next speaker of today's webinar. Professor Asma Parveen Siddhavatam is an Assistant Professor, Department of Information Technology, Basic. She has 21 years of teaching experience as well as 11 years of experience in admission. She is pursuing PhD in Electronics Engineering from Basic. She got silver medal under research category at state level Avishkar Research 2018-19 organized by University of Mumbai. Her area of research is artificial intelligence, machine learning, electronics and nuclear instrumentation. She has published many papers in national and international seminars and journals. So I request her to share your talk on admission process.
A very good afternoon, one and all. Thank you, Sushil sir, for your nice introduction. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. I know there is a lot of confusion and uncertainty related to admissions because of COVID-19. In my today's session, I will try to relieve your stress a bit by giving you the glimpses of admission process. In this session, I will cover the basics and the most important aspects of admission process. Admission, like what is the eligibility criteria required to get admission in any engineering college in Maharashtra, that is conducted by Directorate of Technical Education, Maharashtra. What are the different types of candidature and what are the list of documents required for each type of candidature and the stages of CAP admission process and against CAP admission process as well. And for against CAP admission process, which is purely conducted by individual college for vacant seats that is available after final CAP round 3 or maybe because of cancellations. This process is different for different colleges. So I will talk about this against CAP admission process for Vivekanand Education Society's Institute of Technology in particular. Now we all are familiar, we all know the basic eligibility criteria. That is, a candidate must be an Indian national. He must pass his HSC or its equivalent examination with physics and mathematics as their compulsory subject, and along with one of the subjects like chemistry, biology or biotechnology or technical vocational subjects, provided they score at least 50% marks in all the 3 subjects. And this technical vocational subject must be from a list declared by DT for that academic year, any of the academic year. I still remember a case of last 4 years back wherein a candidate opted for multimedia systems and information technology. Because this subject was not enlisted in the list declared for that academic year, he failed to fulfill one of the eligibility criteria and he could not get admission in any of the engineering colleges that comes under DT. But he applied for private universities. There is one more important criteria, that is an entrance exam. Student can give either MHT CET exam or JEE exam, or they can give JEE and CET both. There is a slight difference in the preparation of merit list of Maharashtra state candidature and all India candidature types. For Maharashtra state candidature, while the preparation of merit list, CET score is given preference over JEE score. For all India candidature, it is entirely reverse. That is, JEE score is given preference over CET score. Even diploma students who have done diploma in engineering and technology or BSc students for the disciplines as described in the DT brochure can also participate in first year engineering admission, provided they score at least 50%. Once we know the basic eligibility criteria, we will see what are the different types of candidature type. So any of the candidate can fall in either of these 6 categories: Maharashtra State Candidature, Minority Candidature, All India Candidature, Foreign Student or OCI or PIU Candidature, JK Migrant Candidature in NRE. In my today's session, I will concentrate only on the first 3 types, that is Maharashtra State Candidature, Minority Candidature and All India Candidature. Maharashtra State Candidature. Any of the Maharashtra State candidates can belong to either of these 5 types, that is A, B, C, D and E. I have seen most of the students, they are confused whether they belong to A, B, C or any other 2 categories. So it's very simple. From this table, I think the things will be very much clarified. So for type A students, the candidate must pass HSC and SSC examination from Maharashtra, and they must possess domicile certificate or they must have birth certificate, or that is they must born in Maharashtra. For type B, the criteria is very simple. That is the candidate or father or mother must be domiciled in the state of Maharashtra, and accordingly they must possess domicile certificate. And for type C, it's purely for central government employees where father or mother is an employee of Government of India or Government of India undertaking. And the very important point is they must be posted and reported to the duty in Maharashtra state just before the last date of submission of a CAP application, that is CAP application form. Now for type B, it's for state government employees where a father or mother is an employee, or he or she might be a retired employee also of Government of Maharashtra or Government of Maharashtra undertaking. Type E, there are 2 things to be noted down. One is the candidate who has done SSC and or HSC examination from a recognized institution. This institution might be located in the disputed Maharashtra-Karnataka border area, or a student might have cleared his SSC and or HSC examination from elsewhere from Maharashtra, but they might be residing in this disputed Maharashtra-Karnataka border, and also their mother tongue is Marathi. So once we know whether the Maharashtra state candidature falls in A, B, C, D and E, they need to produce their list of documents, according to their candidature. I will be discussing about the different documents required in later. So next category is minority candidature. For minority candidature, a candidate can belong to either religious minority or linguistic minority, or they can belong to both the minority types, that is linguistic or religious minority. But this minority must be either religious or linguistic minority, must be notified by state government of Maharashtra. That means this must be, all the minority list must be there in the DT brochure. I'll give an example. Suppose a candidate who is domiciled in the state of Maharashtra and whose mother tongue is Malayalam. That means he belongs to a linguistic minority, Malayalam speaking. And if he is also Christian, he belongs to Christian minority, then a candidate can apply for both the minorities, that is linguistic minority and religious minority. Next candidature type is All India Candidature. Any candidate who is Indian national can come under this category, that is All India Candidature. Once we are clear with all these different types of candidature, we'll see what are the documents required. This, as shown in the slide, these are the 5 basic documents required irrespective of their candidature type. These are the 5 important documents that is required for Indian national candidate who is applying under All India Candidature type. But if they are applying under Maharashtra state candidature under type A, B, C, D, E, they need to submit their documents accordingly. Now, these are the 5 important, as I have said: SSC, HSC mark sheet, JE or CET scorecard, school living certificate and certificate of Indian nationality. School living certificate is very important because you can submit this as a proof of Indian nationality and linguistic or religious minority group. Provided the Indian must be mentioned in the school living certificate, and the religious or the linguistic minority or mother tongue or their religion must be mentioned in school living certificate. Certificate of Indian nationality. For this, you can submit your domicile certificate, passport, or school living certificate, as I mentioned just now. But Aadhaar card is not a valid proof of Indian nationality. It's just a digital identity of a candidate. Once we know what are the basic documents required, we will see what are the documents required for different types of Maharashtra state candidature. For type A, candidate must possess either domicile certificate, birth certificate, or living certificate. For type B, they must have either domicile certificate of a candidate, father or a mother. For type C, they need to get proforma A certificate from the employer. For type B, they can have proforma B, or if the candidate's father or mother is a retired employee, then they should produce an undertaking stating the place of settlement. For type B, they can produce either proforma G1 or G2. Now, when we are talking about this proformas, it's very important you to submit the proformas as prescribed by the DT or as in the format that has been asked by DT. I still remember the case of last year wherein one of the candidates' father was working for Government of Maharashtra. He was working for Best Buses. His candidate's proforma was accepted by FC Center. Once he was allotted a seat in XYZ college, any candidate has to report to ARC Center for confirmation of their seat. So when he went to ARC Center, at that time his proforma was rejected only because of the reason it was not in the format asked by DTE. So my request to all the parents is that please try to submit all the proformas as required by DT or as asked by DT. Once we know what are the list of documents and what is the eligibility criteria required, then we will move on to the stages of admission process. Now, if you observe, during the entire admission process, a candidate need to fill only 2 application forms. That is, one we call it as online application form, and the second one is your option form. In online application form, you require to fill this to participate in CAP admission process, and option form is your preference form or your list of choice of your that is your preference list of all the colleges and their branches. This in online application form, you provide all the basic information about you. That is your personal details, your qualification, that is your academic details. When we talk about the personal details, you provide all the necessary informations like your name, your father's name, mother's name, your family income. Family income is important. If you are applying under TFWS, your family income should be less than 8 lakhs. If you are applying for EBC or if you are applying for OBC or reserve category, there are things where you need to produce income certificate. So that is the reason you have to fill the proper income details, your family income details, your candidature type. Candidature type is important if you want to take admission in minority quota. That means type A candidature is must. Then you have other information like TFWS. If you are trying to take admission under TFWS, where tuition fee tuition fee is exempted, then you need to have an income certificate or family income should be less than 8 lakhs. So these are and apart from this, you also provide information like your SSC marks, HSC marks, and your CET or JEE score. Once all the candidates submit this online application form, your documents, you have to get your documents verified at FC Center. FC Center in turn will give you receipt acknowledgement, and it will look something like this, where you have all your personal details like candidate's full name, father name, mother name, gender, candidature type, under which category you are taking admission, and what is the minority type. Now, there are few things you should remember. Every time this candidate's full name should be as per the DT requirement. That means they clearly say that this candidate's full name must be as per your HSC mark sheet. Then there are few things like your candidature type, that is, if you belong to type A, then you have to write it as type B. Only minority candidates, if you want to take admission in minority quota, then the candidate should be type A candidate. Then if you are trying to seek admission in TFWS, you should say tick S over here. So last year I have seen there were 3 candidates who did not tick S for linguistic minority quota and they failed to get admission in Sindhi Minority Institute. Even there were students who do mistake while entering the gender also. If there is a female candidate, there is a female quota, then to take advantage of the female quota, then you should put a proper or your correct gender also. It also matters because directly it is impacting, all these details directly impact your allotment. So once you fill all this basic information, the next important information is your SSC and HSC mark sheet. So these marks are also very important because if there is a tie between the 2 students while preparing the merit list by DTE, they look for their CET individual marks as well as HSC aggregate. If still there is a tie, then they look for individual HSC marks and then they go for SSC and so on. And sometimes it may also happen then they look at the date of birth of a student if there is still a tie persisting. So you have to be very careful when you are entering all this. So depending on the details that you have filled, you have to upload all these documents. For example, the first basic requirement is Indian nationality. For Indian nationality, as I've said, you can submit domicile certificate, school living certificate and your passport. And for type A candidature, your birth certificate or your domicile certificate is must, that is a point number 2. Since the candidate belongs to Muslim minority, then he or she is supposed to submit the pro forma or school living certificate mentioning the religion or mother tongue of the candidate. This pro forma is available in the DT brochure. It's just a simple undertaking. Anyone can fill and submit. And also there is one more important point. If the institute which you are taking admission under that particular quota, that is minority quota, they may ask you to submit additional certificates like your community certificate declaring that you belong to this community or religious community or linguistic community. And also one more important is that affidavit where you are declaring that you belong to linguistic or religious minority. So once you have done with this, there are other 3 things, that is your SSC, HSC and JE or CET score. So this completes your filling of online application form, that is you are providing all the necessary information and accordingly you have to submit all these documents to substantiate your claim. Once you are done with online application form, once you receive this receipt cum acknowledgement of application form, based on the details given by the candidate, they will prepare the provisional merit list. My sincere advice to all the parents, please go through the merit list carefully. If you find there is any mistake in the gender, name, spelling mistake or candidature type or any other thing, please you get your mistakes rectified during the grievance period. Because once the final merit list is out on the DT website, no matter how you played, DT will never entertain to make any change. They will never entertain and they will never entertain for all those mistakes you have done. So once the final merit list is out on the DT website, and this merit list will be prepared based on your percentile, CT score, maybe composite score, or it could be some other criteria also. Even for this year, which criteria they are going to prepare the merit list is not clear. Once they prepare the merit list, DT also produce seat matrix for different colleges. This seat matrix will tell you, the seat matrix just before the filling of online option form, wherein they will give who are the institutes that are participating in admission process, what are the courses offered by each institute, what is the sanctioned intake, number of seats available for each category, and they will display this seat matrix before every gap round. I will give an example of VESET seat matrix. As we all know, VESET is an unaided minority educational institution. The total sanctioned intake in general is divided into cap seats and institutional seats. As we all know, Visit don't have any institutional quota, so the institutional seats are 0. The total cap seats are distributed among minority seats, that is MI. Visit has 51% quota for minority candidates, AI 15% and Maharashtra state candidates 34%. This 34% of Maharashtra state seats are divided among home university candidates and outside home university candidates. I'll try to give an example of how to differentiate between HU and OHU candidates. Suppose a candidate who is domiciled in the state of Maharashtra and who has done his HSC from Pune region and trying to seek admission from one of the college in one of the college in Mumbai region, then the candidate is considered as outside home university student for colleges from Mumbai region. If a candidate who belongs to Mumbai region, that is, he has done HSC from Mumbai region, he is trying to seek admission from Pune, one of the college in Pune region, then he is considered as outside home university candidate for all the colleges that belong to Pune region or under Pune University. Apart from this seat matrix, as I have said earlier, they also display what are the courses offered by individual colleges and what is their intake. I will give you information about what are the courses offered at Visit and what is the intake. The total sanction intake, out of the total sanction intake, 51% quota is for Sindhi minority. Then Visit offers undergraduate courses, PG courses, and we also have PhD in electronics engineering. We have 6 undergraduate courses: electronics engineering, computer engineering. Computer engineering this year we have, last year also we had an intake of 180. This year we have an intake of 180, and this year there is no second shift. From this year onwards there is no second shift. Second shift is converted to first shift. That's the reason I have written computer engineering 180, instrumentation 60, electronics and telecommunication engineering 120, information technology 120, and there is one more new addition to the branch or the course, that is artificial intelligence and data science, that is intake of 60. Now under PG courses, Visit offers Master of Computer Applications and Master of Engineering. With Master of Computer Applications 120 seats in first shift, because from this year onwards again the second shift is cancelled, that has been converted into first shift. And for Master Engineering we have 3 courses: instrumentation, information technology and electronics and telecommunication engineering, with intake 18 in each course. Then one more important thing I would like to highlight is the DTE code. At the time of filling an option form, the student must know what is the college code and what is the branch code. To make you aware, so 3185 is an institute code of Visit. Now this is if you look at all the branches, there is one common thing, that is 3185. This 4-digit represents the institute code and the rest of the 5 digits is associated with the respective branches or courses. Like your electronics engineering, it is 3185-37610, and for computer engineering 3185-24510, and so on. So while filling your option form, instead of name of the college, you can see only the choice code appearing here in your option. Once we know what is the seat matrix and courses offered for different colleges, the next step is how to filling of your option form. Before you fill an option form, you must know whether the college is your government college, autonomous college, non-autonomous college, government aided college, non-aided college, private university, private institute, private unaided college, minority college, and so on. Accordingly, you can apply filters. So when you apply all these filters, you will see the list of colleges appearing under each of these category. So before preparing your merit list, see to it that in whichever college you are trying to seek admission, you get the information whether they are government, autonomous, non-autonomous, or private, unaided, minority, and so on. Once you prepare the list, go through their individual college websites for seeking more information about that college. So don't get carried away by fancy websites. you have to look for some important information about the college by which that will help you in preparing your preference list. I have selected some of the parameters from my experience which helps you in preparing the preference list, like your branch, which are the branches offered by the college, what is the fee structure. You can compare the different fee structure, and then you can see accordingly you can give the preference, what is the results of that college, placement statistics, infrastructure details, and then what are the facilities provided by those colleges for students. And if the student is an outstation student, then definitely hostel is also a criteria. Apart from this, there is one more important thing that you should keep in your mind while preparing the preference list or your choice list of colleges. What is the participation of college in various technical and non-technical events or activities? Like if I talk of technical events, there are many, but I will tell you only few technical events like Smart India Hackathon, E-Yantra competition organized by IITB, Avishkar Research Convention organized by University of Mumbai, and Deep Blue organized by Mastec. There are many other hackathons organized by different institutes in collaboration with other industries and so on. So you have to see what is the participation of all these colleges in each of these technical events. Apart from this, you should also see the participation of college in various non-technical events like cultural events, your dance competitions, musical competitions, as well as in literature also, like debate competitions, quiz competition, and so on. Because this technical and as well as non-technical, that helps in building the overall personality of a student. That is what required in today's technology era of technology. Now, once we have prepared the preference list based on all this information, one more thing you should say is the last year's cutoff list. That is last year's cutoff list of gap rounds. Now, why I am saying this? Suppose this year the candidate has got 97 percentile. For example, the cutoff of last year for a particular college XYZ is also 97 percentile. This year, because of every year you see the students are scoring better and better. They are scoring better. So students lying in a 97 percentile this year may be more. So instead of stopping at a college which matches with your percentile, that is 97, you should give more choices. You should have more choices. You should add more choices to your list. This is my personal suggestion. I have seen most of the students who even have 65 percentile. That is, I'm talking with respect to the last year 65 percentile. They are willing to take admission in computer engineering, that to very reputed colleges, and because of the limited options they had given, they land up without allotment in first round. So the chances of even if you add more choices to your list before the second round, still the chances of getting college or branch of your choice in the second round is very limited, because most of the seats gets allotted in first round itself. So while filling an option form, your first option form, you have to be very careful, because if you see the first round allotment list and the second round allotment list, there is only a difference of less than 5%. So make sure that you don't do any mistake while preparing your option form. Try to give maximum options or try to give maximum colleges in your first option. Once you prepare your preference list, I always suggest not to get carried away by peer pressure, what we see with most of the students. And also I would like to highlight one more thing. There is a difference in choice code for TEF-WS seats, because these TEF-WS seats are supernumerary seats and it is always suffixed with the letter T. Once you prepare your preference list, you can fill your option form. When you fill your option form, this is the way how your preference list will look like. Now, your personal details will appear. Now, according to the preference you have given, a list of all the colleges will appear here, over here. I have shown only the one in this preference list. I have shown only one college with institute code 3185, institute name Vivekananda Education Societies, Institute of Technology. It comes under Mumbai University, Home University, that is the candidate belongs to Home University. What is the preference he has given? That is maybe second, third, whatever. What is the branch? That is what is the course name? That is computer engineering. And this is the choice code of this branch for this college. That is VISIT. So once the preference list is ready, once you submit this option form, your DT will show you, give you the information about what are the options you have applied for and what is the preference for different colleges. So see, this is the preference list. The candidate has given 10 choices with 10 different branches or maybe 10 choice codes. So once you have filled your option form, next, based on the data filled by the candidates, DT will display the provisional allotment list. If you are happy with your allotment, you have to report to the ARC center for confirmation of your seats, and then finally you have to report to the college for taking admission. This is all about CAP admission process. Most important thing in CAP admission process, your online application form, as I said before, and what you are filling, what are the documents you are uploading to substantiate your claim, and what is the option form. These two forms will finally decide the college or the branch and the category under which you will be getting admission or the seat you will be allotted. Once we are done with the CAP admission process, we will see against CAP admission process of VISIT. If you look at all the points, all the steps, it is similar to CAP admission process. VISIT notifies for online application forms for sale of form by giving advertisement in three newspapers like Times of India, Hindustan Times and Mansuri paper. As per the notification, so students are supposed to fill their online application form. They have to get their document verified, and once based on the details filled by the candidates, provisional list is prepared by the college. And I'd like to tell you one important thing. There are two merit lists will be prepared. One for minority students, that is one minority candidates, one for open category. And minority students or the candidate's name will appear in both the lists. So once this provisional list or provisional merit list is out, and it will be displayed on college website. And again, have a look at the provisional merit list. If you find out there is any mistake with respect to the candidature type or merit number, then you have to report to the college in person, or you can send a mail to visit.admission@vs.ac.in only during this grievance period. Once the final merit list is out, VISIT cannot, any modifications or alterations cannot be done in the final merit list as per DTE. Now once VISIT also displays schedule on their website, and you have to adhere to the schedule given on the website for attending all the counseling rounds. This counseling round is purely based on merit and availability of seats, and it is done in a very transparent manner, and it is purely based on personal counseling. I hope I have cleared most of the basic aspects of admission related to what is the eligibility criteria, what are the different candidature type, documents required, CAP admission process and pre-CAP admission process. I would like to inform you about an initiative taken by AICTE where a student will get an opportunity to do specialization in emerging areas, and they will be awarded a degree of Tech Honors. They can do specialization in a domain from the same department or in a domain from other department. For example, an electronics and telecommunication engineering student can do specialization in antenna, that is related to this domain, related to the same department, or in artificial intelligence that is related to other departments like computer engineering and information technology. And accordingly, they will be awarded BTech honors, that is electronics and telecommunication with specialization in antenna, or minor degree from other department provided with minimum the additional credits of 18 to 20. To clear the doubts related to admissions, FAQs has been put up on Visit Admission portal. Still, if you have any doubts or queries, you can drop your mail at visit.admission@vs.ac.in. Thank you for your patient listening.
Thank you so much, madam, for wonderful and informative talk on admission process.